According to a global poll conducted by Gallup, 85% of people hate their jobs, which is pretty mind-blowing. What is really interesting is how those other 15% end up loving what they do. The book, So Good They Can't Ignore You by Cal Newport, answers exactly that. Newport shares 4 simple rules that can help you pursue a meaningful work life and get so good that others can't ignore your work. Let's start with rule number 1. Don't follow your passion. In 2005, Steve Jobs spoke to graduates at Stanford University about the importance of doing work you love. The speech got over 43 million views on YouTube, and many liked the idea of following your passion, also known as the passion hypothesis. It suggests that the main way to love your work is to first find out what you're passionate about, and then look for a job that aligns with that passion. But Newport disagrees, saying it's the biggest misconception. Even Steve Jobs wasn't into technology at first. He was more into Zen Buddhism, lived in a commune, and went on a spiritual journey to India. Jobs became passionate about his work later, challenging the idea that passion must come before your career choices. The point is that following your passion is actually really bad advice because true career passions are rare, and most hobbies like singing or reading don't easily turn into jobs. Secondly, passion takes time. In a study by Amy Rzeczewski, a professor at Yale, college administrative assistants viewed their jobs differently based on the years spent on them. Some saw it as a job, some as a career, and some as a calling. Those who considered it a calling, meaning work vital to their lives, had more experience. So spending more time on a job and gaining skills makes your passion stronger. Thirdly, passion comes from mastery. According to self-determination theory, 3 needs drive work motivation: autonomy, meaning control over your day; competence, meaning feeling skilled; and relatedness, meaning feeling connected to others. Becoming great at something often increases your interest because you feel more in control and competent as you master a skill. Believing in the passion hypothesis can be dangerous. You might expect a perfect job to appear, making all your dreams come true. But when you can't find that dream job, you might end up switching jobs a lot and doubting yourself. This can leave you frustrated in your career compared to sticking with a skill you may not be super passionate about. So if following your passion is bad advice, what should you do instead? This is where Rule 2 comes in. Build a craftsman mindset. Newport found that a great job is when people feel creative, in control, and make an impact. The thing is, everyone wants such a job, and due to the laws of supply and demand, these dream jobs are rare. So if you aspire to have your dream job, you must be ready to offer something valuable in return. Newport calls this valuable thing career capital, which includes rare and valuable skills. When you develop skills that are too good to be ignored, you can choose a great job. Your goal should be to gather as much career capital as possible, leading to more opportunities. To build these rare and valuable skills, you need a craftsman mindset. This means focusing on what you can give to the world, not what the world can give you. By embracing the craftsman mindset and focusing on becoming so good they can't ignore you, passion will naturally follow. Now, the question that truly matters is how you can successfully adopt the craftsman mindset. The main strategy is to approach your job with a commitment to deliberate practice. This means being truly dedicated to improving and focusing on continuous learning. It involves practicing the parts of your job that you're not good at repeatedly. For example, Ed Sheeran, one of the world's most popular singers, is a great example of someone who became phenomenal at singing by applying this approach. On The Jonathan Ross Show, the singer shared an early recording of himself trying to sing when he was younger. You'll be surprised at how bad his singing was back then. I'll put a link to the video in the description below so you can see it for yourself. Ed Sheeran proves that it's not about being born with natural talent, it's about becoming so good they can't ignore you. Now, there are 5 steps you can take to successfully apply deliberate practice in your own work. Step 1. Determine the type of capital market you're in. There are 2 types of capital markets: winner-takes-all or auction. In a winner-takes-all market, there's only one type of career capital. For example, for a blogger, the crucial skill is good writing, and that should be the main focus, not other skills like marketing or design. On the other hand, in an auction market, various skills are relevant to your job, and you should concentrate on developing them all. It's essential to know which market you're in, otherwise you'll be using your energy in the wrong place. The second step is to identify your capital type. After figuring out your market, pinpoint the skills you need to excel in your job. In a winner-takes-all market, it's straightforward. In an auction market, you have flexibility. A smart move is finding open gates. existing opportunities to boost your career capital. For instance, if you're a software engineer considering product management, explore options within your current company to develop the required skills for the new role instead of starting from scratch in other companies. The next step is to define good. Once you've identified exactly what skill to build, think about your definition of good. In other words, how will you know you've succeeded? This means setting clear goals on where you want to be and how you will achieve it. For example, if you want to be an author, your definition of good can be as simple as publishing a book, or a more ambitious one, like becoming a bestseller on the New York Times list. Step number 4 is stretch and destroy. Deliberate practice will push you past what's uncomfortable, but the bad news is that it's not going to be fun. And that is exactly what you should experience when you try to become so good they can't ignore you. Pushing past what's comfortable is what separates top performers from average ones. The other part of deliberate practice is to seek feedback from others on what works and what doesn't. Don't fall into the trap of assuming your work is already good enough. The final step in applying deliberate practice to your working life is patience. Acquiring career capital takes time. Be patient and prepared to turn down exciting new things and opportunities. Instead, focus on gaining the skills and knowledge you need. The third rule to become so good they can't ignore you is to turn down a promotion, or the power of control. After acquiring career capital, the next step is to invest it in the traits that define great work. Control is one of the most valuable and powerful traits to focus on. Having control over what you do and how you do it is a common factor in the lives of people who love their work. Especially following the COVID-19 pandemic, the desire for control has significantly increased among employees. The McKinsey American Opportunity Survey shows that when offered the opportunity to work flexibly, 87% of people choose it. Flexible working arrangements also rank as a top 3 motivator for finding a new job. We also witness a growing trend with more employers granting employees the freedom to do their job when and where they want, as long as the work is completed. This management strategy is called ROWE, which stands for Results-Only Work Environment. In essence, the more you explore it, the clearer it becomes that giving people more control in their work makes them happier and more engaged. However, acquiring that control can be challenging. The first control trap is gaining control without career capital. In this case, you're likely to end up with all the freedom you want but probably run out of money. For example, you might want to start a business to be your own boss, but without the right skills like marketing and finance, you're likely to fail. In fact, according to CB Insights, 90% of new startups fail. And the top 2 reasons are no market fit and running out of cash. The second control trap is once you have enough career capital, this is exactly the moment when your employer will try to stop you from making the change. You become irreplaceable to them, and they want you to stay. They may offer you shiny things like a promotion or a bonus, but that's exactly the moment when you need to leave if you want to pursue your dream job. To avoid these control traps, Newport suggests paying attention to something that he calls the law of financial viability. This means when you're deciding if you should follow a certain pursuit to gain more control, use the money indicator. Ask yourself if it's something that people are willing to pay for. If you find evidence that they will, continue. The final rule is to think small, act big, or the power of mission. Newport argues that one of the most important and satisfying traits you can acquire with your career capital is to have a clear and meaningful life mission. This life mission serves as your compass, directing your energy toward what truly matters. In fact, many successful people have personal mission statements that briefly express what they are about and what they aim to achieve in life. For instance, Elon Musk advises trying even if there's a chance of failure. Richard Branson aims to enjoy life and learn from mistakes, while Oprah Winfrey aspires to be a teacher and inspire students to be more than they think they can be. Once you've defined your life mission, the question is, how do you ensure its success? Newport suggests 2 key things to increase your chances. First, start with small and specific projects, referred to as little bets. Second, ensure these projects are remarkable, meeting the law of remarkability. Let's take Newport, for example. In the book, he shares that his life mission is to change the way people think about careers. One of the steps he took was writing a book on the subject, but just writing it isn't enough to fulfill his mission. It needs lots of people to read it. That's where the law of remarkability comes in. As Seth Godin mentions in his book, Purple Cow, the world is full of boring things, also known as brown cows, so few pay attention. To be noticed, you need to create purple cows, something remarkable that people will talk about. Similarly, if the author publishes a book offering solid advice for recent graduates entering the job market, it might be useful but likely won't be widely shared. It is a brown cow. On the contrary, if the author publishes a book challenging the advice to follow your passion, it stands a better chance of being noticed. It's a purple cow. To summarize, if you try small and remarkable things, you greatly improve your chances of turning your mission from an idea into a career.